At least 25 people have been killed in gang-related murders in Mitchells Plain in Cape Town since February this year. Now, Western Cape Community Safety MEC Alan Winde wrote to Police Minister Begicele recently asking him to intervene by deploying the army in gang-ravaged areas, but his request was turned down. Well, joining us on Skype now, we speak to the MEC to get an idea of the situation and to find out if there's indeed a way forward. Mr. Winde, good morning. I mean, of course, we know it's not the first time that there's been such calls for the army to be deployed in gang-violent affected areas in the Western Cape and other parts of the country. Just to get an overriding sense from you, why do you think the army would resolve gangsterism?
Well, it's not about resolving the gangsterism. What it's about is about giving the police the extra support. We're 4,500 policemen and women too few in our province. We are totally under-resourced, and gangsterism is getting out of control. And so, the army would just give or bring stability and peace while the police do their work. It's a supporting role to the police, number one. But number two, you just have to walk the streets in the gang-ridden areas, and there's such desperation that people will, people just say, please, anything that will help. And that's why, we're saying, it's not me, it's actually the people on the ground that are saying, please give us the help that we need. We need the army to come in and stabilize while police do their work, because we've got to get rid of these gang bosses. They are really destroying everyone's livelihood, everyone's ability to just lead a normal life.
Now, what do you say to people who've mentioned that when you bring in the army, you're running the risk of hard-handed approach because they are not trained to be with the community? Soldiers are trained differently.
It's interesting, South Africa sends its soldiers into Africa as peacekeeping forces. So, that's a bit ironical when people say that. But of course, that is what army are trained for. But we just want the visibility, in the system. So if you come into a street that's gang-ridden, and if you come into a street where people are shooting and, people are being shot and killed every day, and now suddenly there's a few military people around, you start to bring stability to the system. And it's not about taking over the role of the police. It's about making sure that we give the police support that they need. I think the better thing would be is, why don't we get the national minister to send us the extra 4,500 policemen and women, the vehicles and the resources that we need. That's actually the first point. We've been asking that for a long time. We've been asking for the specialized gang unit for 10 years. At least now, just before an election, we get a gang unit. But it's about just adding extra resources on the ground to make a difference, because it's desperate.
Okay, now I interviewed the Minister of Police, Begicele, a week or so ago, and he said around the Western Cape efforts with the special unit that's been on the ground, he believes that it's beginning to yield positive results. You obviously don't agree with him.
No, I mean, every single day you hear of the next murder. You just have to go into Bonteheuwel. I think, it's like a tally. Every day you see it going up. I think we're sitting on 19 now, 43 altogether this year. We're just 2 months into the year. 43 families have been decimated. Young people have been shot and killed. And that's just between Mitchells Plain, Bishop Lavis and Bonteheuwel. It's out of hand. And we have a specialized unit, but I think it needs much more than that. Right now, families, people are just under such severe pressure. There's all over the place. There's just shootings all the time.
4,500 shot in terms of the numbers, as you've said. I mean, there's no way you're going to get that number deployed in the Western Cape anytime soon. What else then can you do in order to address this under-resourcing in the province?
But that's exactly my point, is that, sure, we are way, way under-resourced. It's been taken years of not giving the adequate resourcing to the province, sort of like, taking it away bit by bit. So then you see the vast difference of police officers per population ratio in the province of the Western Cape versus the rest of the country. Average in the country, 1 to 375 members of the population. In the Western Cape, 1 to 509 on average. but you go almost to 600 in certain areas. And it's not as if this is just me saying it. There was a court case by the Social Justice Coalition that showed that we were so under-resourced, specifically in black and poor areas. I mean, if that's not an indictment on the minister, I don't know what is. That's where the crime hotspots are. You need to then be putting the resources in where they are needed. And that's why we are saying whatever is necessary. I know they're busy training at the moment for our region, but it takes 18 months to train up a police officer. So quite frankly, we need to do anything and everything in our power to deal with this massive, massive issue. And then, of course, on top of this, while this is happening, we've got a massive tussle between our senior management in SAPS, and they are busy laying charges against each other and taking each other on politically, aligning themselves, all sorts of things. There's a big fight going on. So there's a fight on the ground where citizens are being killed, and then there's a fight within the police system as well. We need the minister to take charge. Otherwise, that's what I'm doing politically now, is saying if you can't manage it out of Tshwane, then we need to devolve the power down to the Western Cape. We need to provincialize where provinces are able to take control and management. We need to then allow that to happen.
It's going to be interesting to see how national government responds to that. Thank you very much, Mr. Alan Windi, MEC for Community Safety in the Eastern Cape. It's coming